listen to that bird. Is it talking to me? It's in my garden. Is it saying thank you for the lovely food that it can find in the garden? No, I'm not going mad. I'm not going mad. I've been sitting out here thinking, is there a God? What's the future of God if there is one? What a nerve. What a nerve I've got even to think those things. What on earth am I talking about? I don't know myself. Right? It's just where I'm at this very moment right now. Sitting out here listening to that beautiful bird's tweet. Okay. I haven't tried to see it. I've just sat here listening to it. And now I guess it's kept quiet and it's listening to me. You know, we all, I guess, grew up back 70 years, 50 years ago in an environment where our religion was just part and parcel of our school, our home life. Yeah, it was just part and parcel of everything. And then we grew up, or I grew up, and I was always interested in the spiritual, but this God that had been depicted to me was like, it was an image of this great man sitting somewhere else, beyond the physical dimension, and you would meet him when you died, and possibly and so we had these images. I had these images of this God, and then when I thought I was mature, I was now sort of leaving my teenage years, and I stopped calling it a God. Okay, I called it the universe. The universe. Okay. Now that made me feel better, and people today still around me say, they're like embarrassed to say God. I don't know. Maybe it's it's that image that we had of God that they're embarrassed about. So they call it the universe. Okay, and so we still have some sort of understanding that there is something out there, or part of us. And then along came quantum physics, and that now suddenly brought science closer to this belief system that we had about, hey, we're all sort of one. There's just like this enormous energy vibrating at different levels, and so now suddenly there's a possibility that we could be part and parcel and be part of a sort of a much higher energy, much more vibrating energy, and maybe God is energy. We're thinking to ourselves. I'm thinking to myself. So, where does this take us to? Where are we heading to when we deny that there's a God? Okay, of course there's the alternative. Okay, and there is an alternative. Okay, it's a lower energy, a lower vibration that brings to the pleasures of physical stuff and mental physical stuff too, like believing that if you drink children's blood, or if you make people suffer in pain, that you're part of a cult, a satanic cult, and that you are given powers. Okay, now be this true or be it not. Okay, people behave that way, and then other people will go and sit in a cave and meditate for the rest of their lives, and believe that they are part of God, part of the universe. Okay, So there's a lot of confusion going on, not only in my own mind, but in the world. Now, we all land up with some sort of belief system or belief. Now, historically, that was entwined with a religion, okay? So we were part of this religion or this cult or that cult, and so that cult taught us to believe in this, that, and the other thing. And then there were prophets that came down, and I say came down because it's like a higher energy, like quantum physics is telling us now, to this third dimension that we're living in now, which vibrates at a certain. So yeah, the prophets tell us, all the prophets basically tell us the same thing, okay, is that we must learn to tolerate one another, okay. We must not only tolerate, but we should care for one another. We should go out of the way to care for other people before ourselves, or like we would care for ourselves. So there's all these sort of teachings that go with it. And so you start believing in this prophet, and this prophet believes in this God, okay. But I'm reaching that stage in my life now where for me, not for you listening to this ranting and raving about a God, there always for me was only one God. Okay. Now, where I came about that is very, very difficult to explain, but it's something that I have seemed to evolve into. There is one God, one Creator. Okay, and there is a particular replication of Him in every dimension that exists, not only in the physical cosmos, but in the spiritual. And there is a manifestation of that one God in some form or another, and we can become aware of that. And I've discovered how. And that's not what this video is about, okay? We've discovered that in actual fact, science and religion are coming together, and in due course, okay, they'll be one and the same thing. What does that mean? Is that you can actually prove scientifically, when we get to that point, that there is a God and there is this Creator, okay, and we can start understanding that there are two factors playing into one another. One is the creative factor, and then there's the evolutionary factor. So you first create, and then you evolve, okay? And that's what I understand now. So it's irrelevant if a belief is just a mental image of something or another. I think I can change it to say, I know for myself, I know that in our lives, as in the much larger picture, there's first creation, and then there's evolution. There's a growing process, there's a developing process, okay? And that makes me so comfortable in clarifying my thinking, and asking myself, what is the future of God? Okay, what a nerve, what a nerve I've got. Okay, and what on earth made me say it? But it was just part of the thinking process. So I'm very comfortable with the way I am moving forward, and in the evolutionary process. Okay, and I know that that's going to continue forever, okay, and that perhaps another day for another thought, if I have it. But this is a good place for me to leave my thoughts for the day. What is the future of your God? I know what the future is of my God. I know what the future is for me. I'm evolving according to all sorts of influences. And another day, another time.